I was watching the iced coffee hour yesterday, and of course they had Robert Kiyosaki on. If you don't know who Robert Kiyosaki is, he's the guy that wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is basically most entrepreneurs' first book that they read, as far as because basically what it does is it reshapes your mind or starts making you think about things differently, right? So in that book, he calls people's houses not an asset. He calls it a liability. Um, you know, the rich don't work for money, stuff like that, right? So now, what I find interesting is that Robert Kiyosaki calls investing in the stock market for losers, right? So, of course, Graham Stephan sitting there, and all his assets are in stocks, right? He's been investing in stocks, ever since he started being a YouTuber, and he's probably got a portfolio, I would say, over $10 million in the stock market. So he's just sitting there chilling, making money in the stock market every day, right? But he's sitting there telling that to Graham Stephan, right? Basically just calling him a loser to his face, right? And but what does he mean by, like, why is he calling people that invest in the stock market a loser, right? And so the reason that he says that they're losers is because you don't have control, right? And so, I find it interesting because basically Robert has taken two companies public, right? The whole point of being a capitalist is to start a company and take it public, right? And you get paid yin yang of bucks to take your company public, right? So he took a company public on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and now he's taking one public on the New York Stock Exchange, right? So it's just interesting to me that that's his end game. His end game is to have a stock and somebody buy it, and then he calls the people that do it losers, right? So, but he's basically saying that without control, you really are an entrepreneur, right? But what you see is that you see kind of you see through the lies here when you start talking like that. He's really just trying to make you upset, angry, get views, right?